Here we go. We're already into 2022. Nearly said three. I'm getting my years all mixed up. And welcome back to the PT Graduate Podcast. Today, my guest is Sam Hall. Sam is the National PT Manager for Jets. And it's great to make the connection. Sam, I know we've just met, and I've spoken to some of your predecessors and some of your colleagues at Jets and over the years, but no, first time to say hi to you today. So welcome along, and thanks for your time today.
Thanks for having me, Richard. Excited to talk about all things fitness.
Yeah. Oh, it's good. It's good to be able to do that, isn't it? It's
yes. Yeah.
it's a fun pastime. So tell us a bit about yourself, Sam, because you've got a sporting background before doing what you're doing now. You're a bit of a rugby player. I think you still played. Is that right? You still play rugby?
Yeah, I retired actually about 2 years ago,
but
the itch has come back, and putting the boots back on this year.
Nice.
So no, it should be good. But yeah, like any young Kiwi boy, I kind of grew up loving rugby and always played rugby. And when I left school, tried to give it a really good nudge, did a bit of travel, and within New Zealand, just kept trying to push that rugby dream. And I got till about close to my mid-20s and realized, maybe it's not going to happen. I need to start focusing on a bit of a career. And naturally, I leaned on what I knew best, and that was fitness and exercise. And got into the PT side of things. Did my studies at NZIF. Landed my first PT role with what was Snap Fitness down in Frankton and Hamilton there about 8 years ago. So PT there for a while, and my partner at the time, now my wife, she was living in Auckland, and we've been dating a wee while, and I had to make the decision to who's going to move, and me that bit the bullet and moved up to Auckland.
Good on you.
And remained with Snap Fitness. Went into a club manager role with the Birkenhead Club. And then I was with Snap for quite a fair few years, really. And then last year made the move across to Jets for obviously an opportunity, but a bit of a fresh change. And here I am now in the PT manager role. I'm really loving it.
It's a big role. Does that mean a lot of travel for you now, Sam, or is it mostly office based, or a bit of both?
A bit of both, to be honest, Rich. I think it's probably what I make it. If I wanted to sit in the office and just kind of sit behind the laptop, I could. But I'm a real people person, and I like to be in front of people, and especially from that supportive side of things. So my goal is to get out into the clubs and be supportive towards the trainers as much as I can, and that will require a bit of travel, but not too much.
Sure.
We're quite lucky, actually, to be fair. I mean, majority of our clubs are Auckland. We've only got 2 in the South Island. So I think in terms of where I'm located in Auckland, it means I don't have to travel, extensively down to the South Island and whatnot. Majority of our clubs are up here, and the travel's not too far, so that's all right.
Good. And you've done a number of different roles with Jets, haven't you? Not only what your current role, but regional performance and club development as well. What do those other two? I mean, their titles, but what exactly does that involve exactly?
Yeah, so I was in the regional performance manager role with Jets when I first came across. So my region was South Auckland and Waikato. And basically my role was to oversee the clubs from a performance side of things with the club managers. So making sure that sales, retention, customer service, all those things were on point. So I started in that role last May. Was in the role for about 3 months, and then the lockdown came. So the lockdown was actually a really good time to form relationships with my team. A lot of it was Zoom sessions just like this, and the nature of the initial 3 months for me was quite fast paced, and I didn't really build the relationships I wanted with my team initially. So the lockdown was good for that. And then we reopened in December, and the PT manager position became available, and I got shoulder tapped by a few people here. And obviously got the role, and officially I started the week just before Christmas. So
really?
It's still pretty new. And then really lucky in that I wasn't new to the business. I knew who was who, and I knew what our our vision was and so it's been a nice transition. And yeah, I think the initial stages for me is just really trying to form the relationships with the the PTs. So I'm getting out into the clubs as much as I can.
Yeah, good on you. Yeah. So does that regional performance role, do those people then report into you, the role that you do now?
No. So the club managers are separate to the PT.
Okay.
A lot of the club managers are actually PTs as well.
Yeah.
So I still will have a lot to do with quite a lot of them who do double up with the PT side of things. But in terms of club manager, they don't report to me at all anymore.
Okay.
Yeah, as I said, it's a great move for me, and I've really enjoyed it. But at the same time, I was pretty upset to move on from that previous role because, as I said, I really started to form some good relationships with the managers, and we're starting to make some good inroads. And
yeah,
but that's just how it is. You got to take opportunities.
When you get shoulder tapped, you've got to say it's an opportunity. So it's kind of starting again in terms of that building relationships. Now you've got a different network of people to work with.
Yep. Yeah, definitely. Yep. And I mean, it's not just within Jets. I'm trying to form the relationships with the industry course providers. Your NZIFs, your NZIS.
Sure.
So we can hopefully create a pretty solid pathway for those graduates to step into the fitness industry. It's I've come in all guns blazing. I've met with as many people as I can in those spaces, and we're putting some good inroads in. It's going really well.
Cool. Nice, good on you. Sounds like you're making some good headway. It's satisfying to get your teeth into a role, isn't it? And I feel like you're making some progress.
Yeah, definitely. And like I said, not new to the business has helped. I think if I had have stepped into this role without really understanding what Jets was about, might be a different story.
Sure.
So I've been pretty lucky in that respect.
Yeah. Less of a steep learning curve in terms of getting to know some of the ins and outs of an organization.
Yeah.
So the rugby side of things. So going back to the sporting background for a minute. So you might be lacing the boots back up again. Is it Takapuna you play for? Is that right? Or you have done?
I did. Yep. There'll be maybe a few people out here who hate me for this, but I'm actually going across to Northcote, which is a bit of a rival club. I mean, long story short, I just wanted a fresh challenge, and I played for Taka for a while and had captained there 1 year actually. So I mean, for me, if I was going back, it would have probably just been a bit of the same old. And I'm 32 now, so I'm definitely not a young rugby player anymore. And I just thought, look, need a new challenge, new club. I've got a few good mates at Northcote, so
nice.
Yeah, should be good.
Hopefully
the body holds up.
Yeah, good. And you're pretty competitive. I mean, being that level of rugby that you got to, I see you're a bit of a competitive. Is it CrossFit that you do, or is it a different type of competition?
Yeah, so that was kind of why the retirement initially happened with rugby. I'd wanted to stop for a while. As I said, getting into my late 20s and realised that the professional dream probably wasn't going to happen. I'd given up on that a while back actually, and but I'm someone that is super competitive. I need something that I like to compete, and I need a driver, and rugby was always that for me. And then we actually started some pre-season stuff 1 year with CrossFit Mecca, where I train now. And I just fell in love with CrossFit. Just the competitive nature of it. Even just a normal Monday night class, you're still going batshit crazy with competing against each other, and I just loved it. And I realised this is my new sport, I guess. So finished playing rugby that 2019 season, and then carried on with the CrossFit, and then the last couple of years been doing some competitions and have worked my way up from the intermediate grade into the RX grade, which I've really enjoyed that challenge. But I don't know, like I said, the itch to play rugby again has just come back, and I'm a big believer in, just go with it. Just, if I've got a gut feeling, just roll with it. And I don't want to look back in 10 years' time and be like, I should have played another year or 2 years, if the excitement's there, just go for it. So
totally.
I still keep the CrossFit going. It's awesome training. I really, really enjoy it. And the culture that we have down at the CrossFit Mecca gym is just outstanding. So I wouldn't leave that community anytime soon.
Sure. So have you crossfitted and played rugby at the same time before, or would this be the first time?
Yeah, it's the first
Okay.
time. Yeah, and
Okay.
I'm sure you'll probably ask the question, but to answer it, yes, I'm looking forward to seeing how that can transfer to the rugby field. I play halfback, so I've always been fit. But I guess I don't think I've ever had the overall, power, speed, full conditioning that I have now. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to seeing how I can put it on the rugby field. But again, 32. I'm not 22 anymore, so recovery will be massive.
So different conditioning to the sort of conditioning you'd have been doing previously in when you were playing rugby before?
Yeah, I used to just focus heavily on the running side of it. Obviously with the halfback position, it's pretty much just repetitive shuttles most of the game. Sometimes you have minimal rest, etc. So a lot of it for me used to be just a lot of shuttles, a lot of running. And I think I've always been quite lucky. I've been naturally quite strong, so I obviously kept up with that. But during season, I just try and stay as much running fitness as I could. Whereas, like I said, now it's kind of you've got all of that. You've got the running, you've got the power, you've got the strength. Really looking forward to seeing how that can transfer. But look, we're about 2 or 3 weeks into preseason, and surprisingly, the running's still tough. It doesn't get any easier.
No. How where are you at in terms of weight compared to previously?
No, I'm still about the same. Look, I sit around 87, 88 kgs. I'd never blow out to beyond 90. I've kind of always just been a steady weight there, and I'm happy with that weight. So it's been nice to, I'm used to that weight, and I'm used to my body at that weight, I guess.
Yeah. Oh, good luck with it. I hope it goes well. It'd be interesting to see the difference, with the CrossFit compared to pre-CrossFit.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Are there any? You talked about the culture at your box, and how you wouldn't leave that or walk away from that. Is there something there that, I mean, we all kind of fairly familiar with the CrossFit I guess culture, but is there some stuff there that's sort of transferable or usable in the Jets environment in terms of the way they do things?
Yeah, I think naturally, just in that CrossFit environment, you're always training as a group, so you're going to form those relationships, and that's definitely an advantage. But I know what we're trying to achieve in the Jets model, the 24-hour model, is you can have a culture in the club, and it doesn't necessarily need to be through group training, but it's through customer service. It's about supporting that member on their journey. So it starts with the onboarding. If you onboard a member properly, you get to understand their why and their journey. That starts to create a culture within the club that it can be very similar to that group training environment. So I think definitely you can take a lot out of that and put it into what we're trying to achieve. But again, two separate things, so there's a challenge.
Different environments. The model's quite different, isn't it? So you're not going to literally copy stuff across, but some of the elements that come through in terms of that, there's that culture and that teamwork of CrossFit is, I guess, what stands it apart from many other gym environments. And
at the end of the day, people want to see results, and if you can kind of get help people on their journey, as I say, and help them to achieve those results, that aids retention. They stay at the club longer, they bring their friends, they bring their family, and that's how you start to build that culture. So it can be done. It's just a challenge when you have such a large scale of members. Most CrossFit boxes will sit around probably 100, 200 members max, maybe.
Right.
If you look at the 24-hour model, some gyms are creeping up into the thousands. So big difference, but at the same time, it's all about helping someone on their fitness journey, and it's no difference in that way, is it? No,
that's right. There is that group exercise classes in Jets, aren't there? Is that right?
Yeah, some of our clubs do. It's definitely something we try and encourage, because again, you can see the benefit of the culture that it can bring, and the referral opportunities where people do bring their friends and family down. Classes are great for that, as well as the PTs. Some trainers just get so many of their leads from those classes rather than through the consult setting. So
Right.
it's something we do encourage, but not all clubs have them, because it is kind of dependent on PT buy-in. Because we obviously just have the club manager model where club manager runs the club, through those staffed hours on their own there. So for them to run classes would be a bit of a challenge.
Yeah. So I guess it's on a case-by-case basis in terms of how many they do and what sort of type it is, etc.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. And as I said, if there's good PT buy-in, they'll happily run some classes because they know that it's going to help them to build their lead pool.
Yeah.
So the good trainers and the smart trainers are happy to, as I say, buy into that.
Yeah. I guess it's about what they want to get out of it, isn't it? Really?
Yeah.
Definitely. Yeah. So where does Jets sit in the marketplace in terms of? So obviously the 24-hour model is not many of them are doing that. So it would only be Snap, is it, who's doing 24 as well?
Yep, you'd have Anytime Fitness.
Oh yeah.
I'm pretty sure City Fitness potentially might be 24 hours these days. I'm not actually sure.
Yeah.
And then, there's probably a few smaller, lesser known brands out there that do it. But in terms of, I guess, direct competitors in that 24-hour model, definitely your Snap, your Anytime, City. They're everywhere.
Yeah. So what I guess, from a PT's point of view, if someone's listening who's a PT and they're kind of going, well, I'm here, but I might go there, or I'm not anywhere yet, but I'm wondering which one I should go for. How would they make that decision in terms of, what would be best suited to their needs?
I think one thing that I've really picked up in my short time in the role, and I'm really going to, channel it moving forward, would be the support that they get on the initial stages. So Jason, the previous PT manager, had done really well at creating an induction module to help that layer of support for the new trainers coming on board. So,
right.
To be honest, I don't think if you're a super experienced trainer or someone new starting out, it'll still be highly beneficial for you to, spend this induction day with us to break down all things PT, get yourself ready for D-Day, as we call it. Just to really, reiterate and hone in on making sure you're prepared so that for that first day, you can step in confidently and set yourself up. And then obviously a big focus in my role is to mentor those new trainers in the initial stages to make sure that they're set up and, things are going well. And if there's any challenges, how to overcome them. And I think that's a real benefit of the large scale of our brand. We're nationwide. We have 54 clubs across New Zealand. So naturally there's going to be some pretty robust support structures in place. And I think that's something I've definitely picked up and noticed, in that, it's appealing for trainers to come across to Jets because you've got a real good layer of support to help yourself get set up, which, potentially you might not have that at some other brands.
Yeah. Okay. And so what does that process look like in terms of, sort of, like you say, D-Day, and then you've got, a number of weeks as they get their feet under the table, and presumably they're paying a rent that escalates over that time. So they go from a low rent to a full rent, if you like.
Yeah. I think our build-up phase for the rent structures, that's awesome. If I'm being honest, I think we really try and take that pressure off in the initial stages so that they can just focus on the PT, and then when the rent kicks in, it's there, and hopefully by that stage they're comfortable and don't have to worry too much financially about it. As well as the rent fee per week once it does kick in full time. In my opinion, it's probably one of the most competitive ones out there from what I've come across. So again, we try and take that pressure off from the financial side of things slightly, and obviously understanding our market as well. Our brand model, I guess, is cheap, affordable, convenient, and that's what we're trying to attract across to the members. So it'll probably be a bit of a tough one for us to then put all these heavy costs on trainers if that's our brand model. So
sure.
We just try and align it that way.
Yeah. So what's that time period from when they begin to when they're expected to pay like a full rate?
Yeah. So basically by week 12, they're then into it full. So it goes in stages. They go 0 to 4, and then it increases slightly from 4 to 8, and then 8 to 12, and then you're into it, which is pretty standard. I think most brands do that.
Okay.
So I mean, if you haven't set yourself up in 12 weeks,
Yeah. Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
well, we've probably done something wrong. We haven't given you that level of support.
Yeah,
So,
or it's just not the right thing for them, you know, like if they're not if they can't connect with people
yeah,
and build the business in that time, then they might not be in the right one.
yeah, 100%. So
Yeah.
yeah, it's more than enough time.
Yeah.
And look, to be honest, in my 8 or so years working in gyms, I don't think I've come across many trainers that have hit that 12-week mark and not been able to afford to pay the PT rent from what their current client base is. So,
Yeah.
you know, most in most cases, it's more than enough time to get yourself set up.
Yeah. 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 And so what happens after that? Once they're away and their 3 months is done and they're up and trading, and what is their sort of ongoing support or some education or other things that Jets does?
Yeah, that's something really looking at. I know things have been done in the past, but the frequency of it, I'm just not 100% sure. I mean, my handover was only a couple of days with Jace, so we kind of went through the things that were super, I guess, urgent and important.
Yeah.
Because I was still obviously in the RPM role, so it was quite full on. But we briefly discussed around if any workshops had been run, and he said yes, there had. So to fast forward to now, I suppose a big focus for me is to, you know, make sure that we are running these, you know, education workshops. Or I mean, a goal of mine would be to try and align it with the rep stuff, so that they can earn those points that they need to be able to renew. And you know, great way for us to show them that support, as well as for them to get those CPD points as well. So yeah, a lot of things trying to work on at the moment, and we'll get there.
Yeah. That's good. I guess all organizations at the moment are going through some difficult adjustments with, you know, being in and out of lockdowns, and that's made life pretty tough for people in our industry, and we've had to adapt on the fly and learn to work online, and some people aren't comfortable with that and some people love that. So it's certainly been a challenging time for all of the people in the industry.
Yeah, definitely.
Your PTs, have they been able to kind of adapt, and have they been able to do stuff online, or is there like how have you adapted? Because, you know, if they haven't been able to use the facilities, I presume they've had to do that sort of stuff from home.
Sorry, mate. It's
just dropped out for a second there, Sam. Sorry.
I'm back. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, gotcha.
Cool.
Did you get the end of that?
Yeah, I think you're just talking about how the PTs have adapted. And
yeah.
I think you know, the online stuff has been really beneficial for a lot of them. I guess it comes down to, you know, you've got to want to do it. So the ones that were proactive and hungry to, you know, maintain those relationships with their clients and understand that once we reopen, you know, you want to build on those relationships and to keep your clients, they did go down the online path. But I mean, in the lockdown period, obviously I wasn't in the PT manager role, so I didn't really, I didn't deal with the PTs at all. So can't comment too much on what was actually done, but I know in the last month, getting around and speaking to a lot of the trainers, just getting an understanding of where they're at and what they've been doing. Majority of them actually did do a lot of online stuff, and then obviously in the Auckland area, when we're able to have those picnics outside or the outdoor sessions, a majority of them sounded like they had a pretty good structure there to be able to train their clients outdoors. So
great stuff. That's good to hear.
Obviously, and where they're at now has been really pleasing. And you know, how have you started the new year? And a lot of them are, you know, pretty much where they were before Christmas. They've been able to pick it back up. So that obviously tells me they had been looking after their clients the right way. No one wanted to leave. So whether it was online or outdoor sessions, they've obviously done something right.
Yeah, fantastic. Oh, so that's great to hear that. You know, just adapting and not wanting to overuse the word pivot, but, you know, pivoting seems to have been what the smart ones have done. And like you said, they were hungry to keep doing the right thing. So bloody good on them. So this is the point at which I kind of start to go, so tell me about some juicy tips that you may have accumulated over the years, Sam, that you know, they may not necessarily, they don't have to be your ideas or something you've borrowed or adapted from someone else, but you know, the sorts of things that sort of has stood you in good stead in what you've been doing, and that may be useful for people listening that might go, actually, yeah, I hadn't thought of that, or I am doing that, I'm on the right track.
I think the first thing that came to mind when you asked me about that was just spending time in the club. You know, there's all these different marketing ideas and whatnot, but I'm old school in that, you know, you've got to just spend time in the club and be a people person. Especially if you're a new trainer just starting out. The most successful trainers in my mind are the ones that live in the club those early stages. Just you meet your morning members, your midday members, your evening members, and they start to really get a good understanding of who you are. Because they need to know you first as a person before a trainer. You know, are you personable? Are you relatable? So that's probably the number one for me, is just time in the club. But then the second one would be, I think I briefly touched on it before, is you know, you have to have a strong why to be able to understand a member's why. So, you know, to be a personal trainer, you've obviously decided that career pathway for a reason, and why is that? You know, so whether it be your own journey was you were once overweight and you've managed to overcome those challenges, you know, live and breathe that, and pass that on to your clients, because if they can relate to you in any way, it's really good for you in the long run.
I like that. Awesome. Fantastic. And I think some of those things are the things that we overlook. You know, we kind of get so caught up in the technical stuff and the, you know, how do you do this, and what gizmo tool do you use, and all those sorts of things that you know, we kind of brush past the people and get on with the tasks, and then go, oh, that client didn't come back, you know, and you've started to lose that focus of it's all about the people.
100%. Couldn't agree more.
It's been good catching up, and actually I have to say, my first recording of the year, which is why I got the year almost wrong. So thanks so much for your time, Sam. I know you're a busy man, and obviously not just at work, so your time is precious. So I really appreciate the fact that you've carved out a little bit of time for us today, and dropped in some really great pearls of wisdom, and really helped us understand a little bit more about the Jets business, and how attractive that could be for PTs out there as a career opportunity. Yeah,
definitely. And I think, as I mentioned, you know, it's Jets is a great way. Well, we have that support there, but we've got a really strong plan in place to make the clubs as appealing as possible. You know, just last year, all clubs got a nice inclusion of squat racks and functional gear. So, you know, in the past, Jets never had that. So, in terms of the tools for success for trainers, it's all there. So, if anyone there obviously, wants to have a chat about Jets a little bit further, feel free to reach out. I'll be more than happy to talk about it.
Yeah, thanks, Sam. And what I'll do is I'll grab some details, either a handle or a link to be able to contact you, and I can drop those into the show notes.
Cool.
And then when people are playing this back, they'll be able to contact you if they've got any questions, or just want to follow you on social media or whatever.
Yeah, sounds good.
Awesome. Cool.
Thanks, Rich.
All right. Thanks, Sam. See you soon.
Cool. Cheers, mate.
Cheers. Bye.